Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
That's right. He
I
will.
love that.
All right. So listen, guys. While the fans have been clamoring for Max Crosby, I've been telling you for weeks it's going to be Za'Darius Smith. But not only did we go out and get this guy, but we waited him out. They wanted a 4th rounder to come back to Cleveland, and we weren't doing that. We said we'll give you a 5th and a 6th, and we want a 7th rounder back. Oh, and Maz, you're going to pay for him too.
Lions only on the hook for $600,000. The Browns have paid his salary. I'm not sure what his deal is going forward after this, but we will see what number 99 will do for the Honolulu Blue and Silver. Za'Darius Smith coming over from Cleveland. It's his 4th team, and that's okay. He's played for the Vikings. He's played for the Packers.
And he hates them both.
And he's played for the Browns. You see him in the Brown 99. Well, he's going to be 99 here in the Honolulu Blue and Silver.
Lions fans.
Yes, thank you, Sheila. We love you, too. And let me tell you something. We played the Texans this week. We, the Detroit Lions, played the Texans. Do you remember when it all changed for the good? Stick, I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
What changed for the good? Who were we playing?
Oh, I don't know who we were playing.
We were playing the Texans on Thanksgiving as they were routing us, and you saw this.
See, I was pointing to the end result of that. The change moment is when she came down and addressed the media.
Well, yeah,
that was the changing moment when everyone's like, "Oh man, this Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell thing's not working. Dan Campbell's a meathead." Blah, blah, blah. You heard everybody like panicking. She came down, she calmed everybody down, and since that midway point of that season 2 years ago, the Lions been straight cooking. Sheila, I love you. Mwah. You're beautiful. Run for president. I'd vote for you.
Under Hamp, indivisible, baby.
In
Shout out to
reality,
Biggins. Remember Biggins used to do the Pledge of Allegiance on the
Oh, yes.
on the post-game show.
He may or may not have inspired me this morning. Big shout out, Biggins.
in reality, it was that game where it all changed, where she said, enough's enough. This isn't working with Matt Patricia. And who was the other clown?
Bob Quinn.
Bob Quinn.
Who, incidentally, it
was a
worked
couple
for the Browns as a senior advisor, so he was a part of this trade happening to Detroit.
And his baseball bat.
Well, we thank him and for helping us out for the mess that he made.
So for the first time, Bob Quinn actually helped the Lions.
That's what I just said.
took a decade, but whatever.
Earlier today on the Pat McAfee show, Adam Schefter.
Where you at, Pat?
Adam Schefter was asked, hey, man, how did this trade get going? Let's listen.
And let's keep in mind, and I want to get this straight here, that when Aiden Hutchinson went down, conversation started right away between the Browns and the Lions. The Browns reached out about exploring a trade, and the two sides went back and forth here for weeks. And at various points, it felt like it might not happen. But that is the case on a lot of these trades, right? Like, you hear that it's off, and then boom, it's on. Or you hear it's on, and then it's off. Like, there are a lot of factors that go into each of these moves all the time. But in this particular case with Za'Darius Smith, the two sides had been talking for weeks, and that was a guy that the Lions wanted. He's familiar with the NFC North. He's been to 3 Pro Bowls. He could help be a force while Aiden Hutchinson is out. And look, the Lions have played as well as any team in football. They are a monster. So when you are this close to achieving the lifelong goal of fans in your area, why would you not be willing to swap out some late-round draft picks to get Za'Darius Smith? And that's what they did. They found a common ground, and I think when Za'Darius tweeted that this morning, I think there was some uncertainty. I know there was uncertainty last night about whether it would get done, and then it flipped this morning. It does get done. And honestly, that's the way it should have been. It should have been that way all along. The Browns have 2 wins. The Lions are going for a Super Bowl. Get the trade done. Figure it out.
Yeah, SMH, send me home. That is what he was saying. He wasn't shaking his head. He was saying, send me home to the NFC North.
All right, Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee show. Thanks to that. By the way, did Pat pay his bet to you yet?
No.
Did McAfee pay his bet off?
No.
All right.
Welchers.
We'll get that taken care of. But it happened, guys. The Lions got their man. They got a defensive pass rush now, and we'll see if he fits right in for Sunday Night Football against the Texans. You got to keep C.J. Stroud in the pocket, right? Go after him. The last 3 weeks since Hutch has gone down, they've had, I think, 1 or 2 sacks at most.
Well, they've had to dial up a lot of different creative scheming on the defensive side of the ball. We've seen a lot more blitzing. There was a lot of edge rushers that kind of fit a 3-4 scheme, linebacker, hybrids that didn't really fit exactly what this team needed. I think that Za'Darius is not Hutch, but he does fill that run-stopping, pass rushing defensive end. But I still don't think that they're done. I think that we've got a small window here. Azeez Ojulari is a name that we've talked about, but this guy, he fills what we need in terms of a player, but he also comes with this chip on his shoulder. A lot has been made about how he wants to go back and he wants to give it back to the Vikings. He wants to put it on the Packers. And listen, we've seen this franchise is unwilling to take on a lot of new personalities and bring them into this very established culture. So when you get a guy like that that's already gone on record that says, hey, I want to go and put it on the NFC North, not only does his style of play and his position fit exactly what this team has come to need after some injury, but his mindset and his readiness to go and fight for this Lions team, it just fits exactly what culture we've established here in Detroit.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Hey, there he is. You're looking good, baby.
Good afternoon.
This is Maz's biggest dream, is to turn into a dude that looks, acts, walks.
Maz went to Planet Fitness, baby.
I am a chameleon.
I see you.
That, ladies and gentlemen.
That was smooth. Great transition, guys. Happy to be here. Did everybody vote today? I know you got that out the way. Everybody voted.
I know it, baby.
Everybody voted.
Where's
good.
your sticker?
You said what? Mine's in the car on the steering wheel.
I know you just came from it.
Yeah, it's on the car on the steering wheel. Look, I don't care who you vote for. At the end of the day, your job is to go out and vote. It's
right.
civic duty. People fought hard to get that right to vote, so you should exercise it. With that being said, big news today, right?
That's right. I mean, you're more excited
Big
about
news.
trade day than election day, right?
100%, but I had to get it out the way. I had to feel like I had to get it out of the way.
Are you
but
excited about what the Lions did today?
I am. And I've heard some people talk about, is it enough, and they want more. Look, Detroit Lions went out and got a player in Za'Darius Smith that is a player. And we've seen that because you can go back to what he did when he was with the Minnesota Vikings. You can go what he did to Baltimore. But just look at what he's doing now. He's a player right now. He's currently consistent. He's dominating on a defense that is pretty decent. And also, I'm excited that he knows this division. He's been in this division before. He was with the Minnesota Vikings. He understands what the NFC North is. He understands what games look like in December because he was competing against Green Bay and Chicago those years he was there. So I'm excited. I think they got what they need. Man, you know what people don't talk about?
What's that?
You got a guy that's coming, guy that's going to be not a replacement, if you will, but a guy that can fill some of the shoes of Aiden Hutchinson, guy that can get to the quarterback. But other players on defense are coming back. Melifonwu will be back.
That'll be great.
Emmanuel Mosley will be back. 100% right. You got players that are coming back to a defense that's getting better and better and
Haskell
better.
too, God willing.
When's the last time you heard Terrion Arnold's name mentioned for pass interference or holding?
Been close to a month, my friend.
Game 4. Look at Stick on. Game 4. Guys are getting better, and I don't know what we're talking about. Aaron Glenn's defense is starting to be Aaron Glenn's project, man. And shout outs and kudos to him because it was touch and go for a very long time.
Listen, man. Oh, I'm sorry. Stick.
No, I want to address Braylon Edwards specifically with this question.
Okay.
You were drafted by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Right? That organization, we've come to find out during your time there, had an onus from up above to tank. You guys weren't aware of it as players. I was here when we were watching ESPN and they broke that news and we were all like, that's crazy. You're like, yeah, it's crazy because I was on the team and it didn't even click till you said that. What is it like for a player like Za'Darius Smith to be stuck in Cleveland and get traded from that pit to a team like Detroit? What's that like for a player?
When you're in a place like Cleveland that, has so many malfunctions and so much chaos that goes on behind the scenes where nobody's feeding the right information, nobody's telling you straight, whether the GM and the head coach have disconnect, whether the players, and it's just so much disconnection. It's tough. No matter how good you are, Maz, no matter how much you love the game, slowly but surely, it eats at your soul. It eats at your spirit. It eats at your spirit to want to go out there and be successful. And it just makes it tougher and tougher and tougher. Za'Darius Smith is one of those type guys. All he wants to do is win. All he wants to do is give all that he has for the Cleveland Browns or whatever team he plays for. When you play for an organization like that and it starts to eat at your soul, you start to ask yourself questions like, do I even still want to play? Do I even want to be around? Like, everything sucks in Cleveland. Like, the meals suck. Like, the front office sucks. You know what I mean? The locker room, it starts to get divided. Like, it starts to get divided. You saw that with Baker Mayfield. It's another product of Cleveland, him versus OBJ. That's what Cleveland does in those spaces. And then you get a phone call that you're going to an organization that cares about winning, that you're going to an organization that cares about being a team and doing the things necessary to get to the goal, which is the Lombardi Trophy. It immediately reinvigorates you. I remember when I went from the Browns and I got to the New York Jets, first practice, like I'm talking about stick, I walk in and I'm just looking at everything. Everything's clean. It's a team. It looked like the professional. It looked like the NFL. It looked like what I thought it was going to look like. And then you go out to practice and then you hang out with guys and then you're watching film and then you're seeing the front office interact with the players. You're seeing building. I was cool with the lunch lady. I was cool with the maintenance people. You're cool with the equipment managers. But when you get on that field, man, it's about business. And finally, you can give your all to a team that's doing the exact same thing. It sucks when you give your all and you look at the man to the left and you're not seeing the same thing. Or you look to the right. Or you're looking at a coach that's checked out. You're not going to see that in Detroit. Za'Darius Smith, he's going to be a hell of a pickup, and anybody else you may pick up.
You know what's going to be really good for this team, and I don't mean to even look ahead, but if he fits in on this culture, you get Hutchinson back next season, and you got Za'Darius Smith, and then you get Marcus Davenport back, and you get DJ Reader in the middle. Yeah. They're monsters, man. Adam Schefter called this team a monster. They are a machine. This team fears nobody. And now they just got a shot like vitamin C, man. Feeling good, looking good. They're the best team in the league, and they got better today.
They definitely got better today. And it's going to be fun to watch. You go back to last couple of games, they've been doing it without Hutch, but you've still seen some of that where quarterbacks have had time. I don't like to blame the rain on anything. I did that one time in 2017, and it cost me. I said Michigan lost Michigan State because it was raining. I now take those comments back. But in that game, you saw a smarter coach. But just the Green Bay situation, if you're giving Jordan Love time with those wide receivers with no rain, it looks different. He had
a healthy Jordan Love.
It's gonna look different having Za'Darius Smith. And I'm telling you, that secondary who's been much improved. Watch this secondary eat. And I'm not just talking about Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. I'm talking about the defensive backs. You'll start to see them get some interceptions. Za'Darius Smith, it does a lot for the Detroit Lions, but it does a lot for the squad.
I'm known around here as Mr. SOL. But if there is not a more telling sign of the brand new Lions, it's this exact trade that we saw, because our entire career as Lions fans, we were the Browns.
Yeah.
We had players that we knew didn't really want to be here. We were just trying to get that extra win around week 8, week 9, so we didn't have to trade them. But year after year after year, we ended up in this spot where guys wanted to leave. And now we're so much on the other side of that coin that we're the destination now for these teams. You see all of these Super Bowl quality teams making small deals from the Chiefs to everybody else. Lamar getting some extra help. This is what the Lions are now. And this is what the Lions are going to be for a very long time in the future. We are going to be players in the trade market. But listen, Lions fans, hold yourself to the same high bar that the players are holding themselves to. The excitement and the fandom over thinking that we're going to go get Max Crosby and thinking we're going to go and spend all this capital to get Myles Garrett, this is not the DNA of Dan and Brad. They are conservative. They're going to hold their capital because the one thing that they have proven to be spectacular at, maybe the best in the league right now, is drafting and developing talent.
I couldn't agree with you more, Anderson. But, just look at this Detroit Lions fan. This is a major move. I played in the NFL. I've been on good teams that wouldn't pull this trigger. I've seen teams. It's not the good teams that make a move like that. It's the great teams that make moves like that, the great front offices. I've seen good teams sit on a player because they're like, I don't know. I've seen the teams that need that player.
Like the Raiders.
100%. And I've seen teams that need that player that's like, fourth round, that's a little rich for my blood. I don't know. I think we can win with this. They went out, they addressed the need, they saw it, they watched the films, they watched the tapes, they listened to the players. Because a move like this doesn't get made if the players don't have input in this type of team. They have input. Hey, coach, bring in somebody. We can use another horse out there. This is just being real. We can use a dog out there to help us out tremendously. Teams don't make that, and they did that, Detroit. They did that. They got Za'Darius Smith.
And we made him pay for him.
True.
We made him pay for him.
And you got him for nothing.
That's right, man.
And you got him for nothing.